Hey guys, I am John Carrick, and as you can tell, we are doing something a little bit different today. I do not need to be in the center of the camera if what we're looking at is a comic book. So today's 100 Bullets number 21, and this is about Jack. And Jack is not a dull boy. Jack is getting every ounce he can out of life. Selfish and Out to Sea Part 1. This kid, the blonde kid, is picking up some drugs from his homies out of this bucket that gets dropped down out of the top apartment. He grabs him. He's very happy. See? Dun, 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 reaching in the bucket. He has the drugs. Drugs! Drugs! Drugs have done a lot for mankind, as Bill Hicks tells us. So, here we get, he goes back to his place where Jack is waiting for him. It smells like shit in here, Jack. This is, it's hard to say this is an important comic, but goddamn, it's fucking relevant. This kid and Jack has a 100 Bullets gun that he got from Graves, Agent Graves. He's only referred to in this issue as the old man. This is a different writing style. You know what? This is a story told by an addict. I'm just realizing that. It's all beginnings. It's all middles. It's all middles. This issue is all middles. This is all the parts where the parts where he didn't do anything wrong. You miss the parts where he did everything wrong. All those parts are cut the fuck out. This is really interesting. This is what drug addicts tell the cops about crimes. They tell them all the in-between bullshit and never what really happened. So here's Jack hanging out with his homie. They are going to shoot up and get high. The art is amazing. Look at how well, the colors, everything about it is just, you know. I remember someone said that it could be more, it could stand to be a little dirtier, but digitally that makes sense. But this was the early 90s and this is dirty enough. Dirty is as dirty does. Wait till you see this scene up here. This is pretty filthy. Oops. An ad for Farscape. And so here we go. They're going to shoot up. And Jack's going to tell him how he got this gun. How did you get this gun? I do want to look at this Crusades series. I'll look at it digitally. I love the helmet up here. It looks like the bad guy from Conan. So, yeah, where'd you get this gun? The old man gave it to me. Which doesn't make it a whole lot of sense, does it? And then they're talking about how good the drugs are. Oh, these drugs are awesome. These drugs are the bomb. This is back when that phrase was in vogue. So his friend asks him, after he gave you the gun, then what'd you do? And he says, me. And we find out that he's a drug addict and he's not about to tell you the story. So he's got the briefcase. He works at a stadium and he's going to take a piss. A lot of this issue is only half the story. And this is how drug addicts are. I don't know if Brian Azzarello has drug addicts in his family or police officers or both, but he really has a perfect understanding of this scenario. Jack is a security, he's a bouncer at a stadium for shows. And there is a rapper at the show, and this is his boss taking a piss, and his boss is telling him that the rapper hates security, and you got to get up there and be careful and make sure they don't wreck the place. And they just kind of talk shit back and forth. Yeah, so his boss is telling him, do your job, keep the peace. His boss is really kind of a prick. And so here, this guy is, the singer is inciting the audience against security, saying they're fascist pigs, don't let them boss you around. And then the kid, this lead singer, jumps into the crowd and Jack smashes him in the face with the briefcase. His boss down in the restroom had asked him about it, and he told him it's nothing. It was his. And then the rest of the crowd, do you want to fight? So after he knocks out the lead singer of the show, presumably he got fired. Now he's out at the water's edge looking at the briefcase and what it is that was sent to him. I hope this is in focus. I've noticed that it tends to focus on whatever it wants. And this is a really interesting issue. Like I said, it's from an addict's perspective, so we don't get the full story about what happened in any of these situations. We only get bits and pieces of it, right? We get the bits and pieces that make him look cool. We don't get the bit where he got fired, the bit where he beat up a bunch of girls, if that's what happened. Basically, this lead singer's a girl anyhow. He didn't have to knock him out. And then we get him going back to his old job at a bar where he used to be a bouncer. This is the owner. And he's, what do you want? Any chance you give me my job back? We still don't know who he's been hired to kill. We have no idea. So, but he is looking to get his old job back. And the boss, who wears a spider on his head, refers to this guy as Hijack, as in he's high. And he hijacks every scenario. And he's explaining to him, no, you can't have your job back. I'll let you have a drink, but that's it. One drink and you're going. And they get into it. It doesn't take them long. And so he's like, all right, fine. Essentially, And he immediately goes and picks a fight with the kids playing pool. Again, we only see the parts that make him look cool. We don't see anything else that happens that see, it immediately cuts to him on a payphone. And again, we're getting canted, a lot of canted. I wonder how many. I didn't look through this issue to see how many canted panels there were. But so he's been beat up. The other guys were probably worse off. And he's calling this girlfriend to throw down her keys. She does. She's a painter, and he's asking, why did we break up? And he says, well, you cheated on me. And she says, yeah, but you didn't care. I think that's first he goes to use the restroom and he sees this painting that she has of him, and he hates it. He hates the way it makes him look. Asks her why she keeps it. And then we get the bit about, why did we break up and blah, blah, blah. And we weren't that good together and it never would have worked out. And she says, yeah, but you didn't care. And now he's asleep. And we get this great Patrick Nagel panel. Okay. Fantastic. But then we get the same thing at the other location where he's fallen asleep getting high. Or overdosed. One or the other. We won't know until the next issue, if I have the next issue. And to be perfectly honest, I don't really care. So that's the problem with addicts. You don't really care when they commit suicide. You don't really care when they die. But you do if they're family. You do if you remember them the way they used to be. Then it sucks. The art is great, but it certainly is dirty enough. I don't think it can get dirtier. He's falling asleep with a cigarette in his mouth. Bo's alarm clock. So yeah, that's 100 bullets, 21. And we also have this conflicted card. It is the 10 of clubs, conflicted deck 2. And this one says, I'm going to read it to you guys. A large gang of traveling looters forced you and your family out of your retreat. On their way to their next destination, they drove you and your family hours away and sold you and your family off at a trading post 150 miles from your retreat. So these first two sentences, there's a lot of redundant stuff. This is really poorly written. It could just say, a large gang of traveling looters ransacked your retreat and kidnapped your family. They drove you 150 miles away to a slave auction and sold you off. Period. That's all it needs to say. A good Samaritan paid the price for you and set you all free. A good Samaritan paid the price for you and set you all free. It's time to start over. It's time to start over from nothing in a post-apocalyptic world. How would you go about securing a short-term and long-term survival of you and your family? This is really poorly written, and I didn't read it any better. But it's a pretty basic question. You find yourself 150 miles from home, regardless of how you got there. We didn't need to know how you got there. If you're going to do an encounter like that, you should start it with how you got there. It should be something about getting there, about not allowing your family to be kidnapped, right? Like that should be the focus of what you're talking about. It should be, some looters try to ransack your location with you and kidnap members of your... We had that in some of the other ones. So it is a little redundant. But anyhow, 100 bullets, 21. Don't commit suicide. Don't commit suicide by drugs. This life has the meaning you are able to give to it. If anything, that's the one freedom that freedom from religion has given the modern man, is that you don't have to have your worth assigned to you by someone else. You don't have to inherit your career as an apprentice of whatever. But that means that you have to choose something and stick with it and make that give your life meaning. That's the rules of the game that we're playing. All the other stuff comes second. So if you can find a way to give your life meaning, everything else is easy. And this Jack character and his friend, for them, it's just drugs. And I've lost members of my family and people that I care about a lot to drugs. I could say that I lost years of my life to drugs, but that would not be accurate. I smoked marijuana for a long time. And I suppose I had some relationships fail, but really all that did was accelerate the problems that were already there. So I dodged some bullets is the true statement of fact. I could have been someone else. I could have sacrificed more, but that just meant I would have been, a slave to the relationship longer. You can only serve one master, right? So what's it going to be? Is it going to be money? Is it going to be women? Is it going to be fast cars? Is it going to be your career doing such and such for such and such? Is it going to be some kind of art? You only get to sacrifice to one thing. Bruce Lee, it was martial arts, right? Someone asked him about that. They said, how do you find time in the day to do this so well and still get everything else done? He said, there is nothing else. It's focus. When you want something this bad, everything else falls away. I get that. I completely get that. I also get the idea of burning yourself out, burning the candle at both ends. I have done that too. So you can put forth Bruce Lee effort without getting Bruce Lee results. Now, a lot of people have done that. A lot of people have worked very hard at a lot of things that brought them health, but not necessarily wealth, or wealth and not necessarily health, or both and not for very long. So be careful what you choose. Be careful, I think that's the lesson of today's episode, today's issue, 100 Bullets, number 21. Be careful what you wish for. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Bye.